You have clearance, Clarence.
Roger, roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Tower radio clearance, over.
That's Clarence, over. Over. Roger.
Huh? Roger, over. What? Huh? Who?
The week 3 and 4 videos may be a little late, but my flight progression is still very much on track. This video is going to include both weeks 3 and 4, and I'll make sure to differentiate the best that I can. Let's get into it.
By the way, is there anyone on board who knows how to fly a plane?
Week 3 consisted of Monday, June 10th through Sunday, June 16th. Monday morning, the 10th, started with a solo takeoff and landing evaluation. That morning was not the best morning to take my evaluation, but I decided to send it anyway. Winds were constantly about 15 knots and gusting over 18 knots. In that traffic pattern altitude, the winds were between 20 and 30 knots. In this eval, I needed to prove to my instructor that I could land a plane 3 times in normal configuration, 1 time with no flaps, 1 power off 180, and 1 go around, while handling all radio communications. If you do not know what these different types of landings are, reference the Week 2 pilot log linked in the corner. I passed the evaluation with flying colors, which meant I was ready to solo. This comes 14 days after starting the program and only 47 flight hours in. As per flight school regulation, I had very stringent weather conditions to follow in order to solo. The winds had to be no greater than 10 knots and have no greater than 5 knot crosswind component. I got very lucky when I was able to solo later that day when the winds died down. I started with my instructor doing 2 landings and 1 go-around before letting my instructor out and going out alone. My instructor got some photos and videos as I started plane, taxied, took off, and landed. In my first takeoff, you can see the sun glisten off the bottom of the wings of the airplane. I thought of this as a sign from God, as He is watching over me and protecting me. I accomplished 3 takeoffs and landings before heading in for the night. The following day, we were able to do a customary aviation tradition of cutting out the back of the shirt that I wore for my solo. You can see another student cutting my shirt as a memento for my first solo flight. The rest of the week consisted of 2 more solos, where I stayed in the traffic pattern for 1.5 hours and 2.7 hours respectively, adding 25 more solo landings. As for other hours, I finally added some time in pilot command, giving me totals of 48.5 dual received, 4.7 pilot in command, and 53.2 in total hours. And when it comes to landings, my previous total was 207, which I ended the week with 250. Week 3 was a long one, but a big milestone along the way. I'd like to thank my instructor Dylan and all the students and instructors around me while I was completing my solo takeoff and landing phase. Week 4 consisted of Monday, June 17th through Sunday, June 23rd. The previous weekend, my instructor was out of town, giving me time to return home for the weekend through Tuesday the 13th. It was a much-needed weekend of rest, but I was right back to business on Wednesday. On Thursday, the 20th, I started my solo cross-country preparation phase. This consisted of my instructor and I taking off from our Chicago base location, flying to a southern Wisconsin airport, landing and departing to a north central Illinois airport, then returning to Chicago. The trip was roughly about 180 nautical miles and took about 2.5 hours of flight time, which was logged as 3.1 hours. The following day we did the same route and logged about 3.0 hours. Saturday, June 25th was my solo cross-country evaluation. In the 4-hour flight, I conducted the same route with the evaluating instructor, who added a few different things into the eval as well. During part of the flight, he got me lost where I had to find where I was using a paper map and cross radials. I also had to explain and demonstrate emergency procedures and deviations during this time so the instructor knew that I could handle the aircraft in an emergency when I was alone. That wrapped up my week as my dad visited me during the long weekend, and we were able to go out golfing, go through finances, explain my training, give him a tour, and go out to eat. Our totals after the week were 10.1 hours of single engine dual received, day hours, cross country, and total hours. My total hours at the end of the week ended up being 63.3. I only added 13 landings in the week, giving me a total of 263. That is it for week 4, and I have a special surprise for week 5 planned. If there are any questions, drop them in the comments and I can explain further. This has been Pilot Brien. We'll see you next time. See ya.